Nice.
Ah, well done. And do you know what? It's been an absolutely great start. Hello, everybody. Second time's a charm. What a day! What a start to the stream! I'm only just getting used to this. We're getting our first laps in. Jivadar's joining me in the comms today. I'm having an absolute mare to start tier 4 today, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll get into it in Silverstone. I'll say it again, Jivadar. What are you expecting here in tier 4 after the first few rounds have already been completed?
Very close racing, a lot of crashes and drama with such close field. And so far, it's been great for the first 3 rounds. Silverstone, obviously, we'll see what it can bring to the table. It's a historic circuit, one fan and driver favorite. Obviously, it's got a mix of high, slow, and medium speed corners. It's got straight. It's got a lot of overtaking opportunities, and it's just really a great circuit overall to see what it can bring to the table.
It absolutely is. As we've had our first laps in, it's Dennis Langrock at the top of the times with 25.8. That's a pretty decent banker lap from Dennis with 13 minutes on the clock. And right behind him is the McLaren of Tajubit. And in P3, we have NLR. Who's that? Miska? I need to get used to names. Oh, you've absolutely smashed that. I'm too Yorkshire for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's my fourth round, yeah. It's ETA Tehubi. Then we got Miska Haikila in P3, followed by Stefan Vasso in P4, Herman Poliakov in P5, Meow in P6, absolutely love that name, Nicolino in P7, Jan Čvrlik in P8, Giovanni Galiotto P9, Kevin West P10, Ben Shorley in P11, and the last lap time set is AMS Sarpili has invalidated, I believe. So that's why it's at the bottom. Yeah, Istvan Tamasi has joined late, I believe, so he has a quali ban. Marvin Golm and Pikasic have invalidated the first laps. And yeah, we also got Mr. Pike, who is serving a quali ban. He did try and speedrun getting so many penalty points in the first 3 rounds, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, I think he already got quali ban for penalty points, and he's on like 28 penalty points. He's got more penalty points than actual points.
Oh, right. Speaking of points, then we'll quickly run through the standings because I've got them right here. Dennis Langrock is at the top with 40 points, and it's the other Williams, Meow, in P2 in the championship. So 40 points to 39 points. Williams have had a flying start to season 19. It's a win for Dennis Langrock in Kota, then P3 in Singapore, then only P15 last week in Las Vegas.
Was on to get a podium in Vegas, by the way, and got swiped into a wall by Herman Poliakov, so...
Brilliant. So we're expecting some carnage then today.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Dennis Langrock, I am a big glazer of his. You know, he's like that type of person that just always does well. Like, I haven't seen him have a bad race, like, ever. He's always in that top 5. And even if he has a bad quali in the race, you just steadily see him climbing up positions. Like, P6, P5, P4, and he still ends up on the podium.
So, for me then, high expectations for Dennis Langrock, and at the minute he's absolutely meeting it. At the top of the times, 5,000 to Teshubi in P2. I think I've done that. Tehubi. Is that a good thought? Tehubi.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, smash that. Anyway, Marvin Gom. Probably butchered that one as well. On the exit of Magnussen, Beckett and Chapel onto the hangar straight. It's a 102.8. Win the first 2 sectors. He's going to head into the final sector. And he's going to head now around Stowe and get on that power. Probably could have hit the apex a bit nicer there, actually, but on the power, on the exit, heading into the Velchicane. Heavy braking point, get it turned left, onto the right, get the power down, and to the line we go. Past Club Corner. And for the Haas driver, it's going to be a P7. It's a 26.1 and solidifies himself in with a shot over top 5 performance here with 9 minutes 50 on the clock. Still got some laps flowing in.
Yeah, next up on track, I believe it's Tehubi now, the exit of turn 4, and he clips the grass, and that is his lap over, basically. He lost about 3 times there.
Yeah, we'll go to the other McLaren.
Exactly, guessed it. I guessed it though, 3 times.
Is that Pikarchik?
Yeah, Pikachu.
Oh, I smashed that one. Oh, good.
Yeah, to be fair, I had a problem with saying that name, but I've gotten used to it.
To be fair, I'm quite good. I'm quite good at the shik. I'm quite good at that.
Yeah, and it's Nicolino, not Nicolin with an O. With a 0. I thought it was Nicolin with a 0, but it's just Nicolino.
Okay. Good to know. As he actually made a mistake when he was going on about his name, actually. As I think we'll go on board with Dennis Langrock as he heads on to the old pit straight and up to Cox. We'll see if he's improving in this middle sector. As he gets on the exits, as nicely on the curb there, flat out throughout the whole thing. And sector 2 is going to go across that timing line in a few moments as he heads past Maggots and Beckett's and into Chapel. As what's it going to be on the power with the DRS? It's a 102.4 and it's a 10th.5 improvement. So Dennis Langrock is really setting the pace in the first part of qualifying on his second lap in qualifying. As we now head around Stowe, it's to Williams, the guy top of the championship, the man to beat at the moment. Is anyone behind improving just as much? We'll have to find out in a few moments' time. Dennis Langrock into the Vale chicane on the exit, get the power down. Bit of a correction there, yeah, bit of a wobble, not very confident, but still improves by half a tenth, and it's a 25.778 and just lost a tenth at the Vale chicane there, but still improves and goes further ahead at the top of the times.
Yeah, Stephen Vasso, but right behind him on track, goes P3 with 125.918. Great lap from him. As who else have we got on the lap? Herman Polyakov does not manage to improve. We got Meow, who's matching his personal best for the first 2 sectors, and he's gonna full send it on this last couple of corners to try and find a bit more time, and he improves by 12 thousandths of a second. Does not improve his position, but at least he went green, so that's a positive. And the only driver so far on the hot lap is Jan Schredlek in the Red Bull. Through Cops he goes. He's a 10th up on his time at the end of the first sector. That's looking pretty good for him. He will need an improvement to try and break into that top 10, obviously. And at the end of second sector, it is 2/10 up on his time, but he's about, I'd say, 2/10 from Dennis Langrock's personal best at the end of the second sector. But obviously, Dennis had that mistake in the last chicane, so it is not looking too bad for Jan. It goes across. Never mind then, I've jinxed it. Congratulations, Jan.
Yeah, went across the grass there. That's a big snap on the exit. It was looking pretty good actually through the Vale chicane. Had a very good line, but just got on the power a bit too greedy there. And yeah, that's going to cost him with 6 minutes to go on the clock. And what's he going to do? Probably going to come in and just wait for that final run. But yeah, big mistake from Jan in the Red Bull, and that's going to cost him of a pretty decent lap time there, as it looks pretty decent in Sector 3. Everyone's come into the pit lanes now, and I mean, today, obviously, we've got a massive DR. I'm going to expect a massive DRS chain, unless Dennis Langrock can pull out a masterclass at Turn 1. But are you expecting the same, just same old overtakes with the massive, long DRS zone?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to break out of the DRS on this track. Like, it is just in general on the game. DRS is so powerful. Even if you pull that gap over a second, the guy in P3, for example, can just use the DRS and slingshot back into your DRS. You gain like 4/10 with the DRS compared to you got the guy ahead if he doesn't have it. So it's so hard to pull a gap that if the skill gap is not too big, it's basically impossible unless there's a mistake from someone behind. And we got Tehubi through the end of the first sector. He's basically matching. He's a little bit down on his time, and that is gonna be quite a slide through there, so he'll probably not be finishing that lap.
Yeah, Ben Shawley's on a lap as well in the RB. He's coming to the end of Sector 2. Can he improve? Try and get himself within a shot of the top 10. It's a 102.6. It's 3.5 tenths so far in the first 2 sectors. At the minute, looking pretty good to try and challenge for these top 10 positions. Bit of a correction, though, on the exit of Magnus and Beckett's, but still looking pretty decent on the exit of Stowe. Heading to the Vale chicane now. Can Ben Shawley improve in this V-carb and put himself within a good shot of these top 10 positions? It's using that overtake. To line we go. As... Is it an improvement? Sorry, there?
Yeah, it is. Goes up to P8
Bit
with
like that.
126.075. So pretty decent lap from there, puts in P8. But obviously there's still quite a lot of time to be found, especially through the first two sectors. You got Miska Heikel is a 10th down on his time. So he'll probably just full send it through these last couple of corners and just fully enter the pits. You go again. Pikachu across the line does not improve. You gotta slide out of the last corner. Just saw that. And who else is on the lap? Kevin West has finished his. So yeah, that's it. We're just gonna wait for the last runs. Nicolino has gone into P4 actually. I've missed that. But great stuff from both Aversion drivers, both Alpines in P3 and P4 so far. Looking great in qualifying. I'm definitely not I'm definitely not a member of Aversion, so I'm just glazing them every chance I get. But you know, that's the downside of Luke choosing me to commentate as a driver who should be driving.
Oh. So, who's your predictions at pole then? Because Dennis Langrog is looking pretty comfortable so far, and he even made that mistake, so he's probably got a bit of time in the final sector as well. Is Dennis Langrog the man to beat?
Oh, of course. He's always the man to beat. Like, if he didn't have that crash in Vegas, he would be leading the championship by like 25 plus points. And he's still leading the championship, so yeah. He's just so consistently quick. Like, he's the guy. He's him. I don't see anyone beating him in terms of race pace, to be fair. Like,
Well,
sure, you're gonna be able to keep up, but overtaking him will be a whole lot difficult.
it absolutely is. Is this man, the man in P2 in the championship, his teammate Meow, going to improve on his lap time? Is there anything left in this first sector as we now head around village into the loop, and on the exit, it's going to slap that power down with a big slap of oversteer, treating him as well. With the overtake on the exit there, don't want to go too far to the right hand side of the track. It could actually cost you because it is very bumpy, as he's now down by a 10th in this first sector. Now, for the last two sectors, he's got to absolutely nail if he wants any chance of a top 5 qualifying position and top 5 grid slot. For the race, he goes wide, and that is an invalidation, and Meow will stay in P8, and that depends on if Ben Shawley, Pikashik, and the rest behind outside of the top 10 can improve ahead of him. But Meow not going to improve on this run. Can he go again though? I think he might be able to, but we'll see if he can improve on that one later on, as everyone else on their out laps now.
Everyone else, but Pikachu is just coming out of the pits and he does not have time, so he has misjudged that quite a bit. We got the Ferrari of Giovanni Galiotto's first person to start his lap. Through turn 1 and 2, flat, through turn 3, braking at the 50-meter board. He misses the apex slightly as you want to ideally get on that curve. But pretty good rotation through turn 4, cutting turn 5, which for whatever reason this doesn't bottom out your car, which I don't get it, but it's okay. But he is a 10th down at the end of the first sector, so he is gonna need to full send it if he wants to gain anything back. Through and towards Cop's corner we go. It was pretty good on the traction. Obviously Cops is flat out on this game pretty easily. Through Maggots, then Beckett and Chapo. This is all flat out with just slight lift going into Chapel. At the end of the second sector, he has found another 10th to gain that back, and he's almost matching his personal best. He needs to full send to try and gain anything. And he's really attacking it through there, up towards the last chicane. He goes a little bit, carried a bit too much speed through there, but he is still fastest with a 125.754. Let's see if anyone is looking to beat that. We got Dennis Langrock and Tehubi both improving behind him, and that P1 provisional time is not looking too great, as Dennis has managed to gain a 10th so far on his lap. and it is looking great. Jan Frelle goes into P1, beats Giovanni by 0.02 of a second. Marvin Golm in P6, beaten immediately by Stefan Vassel, who goes P5 in the Alpine. We got Dennis Langrock across the line he goes, and that is provisional pole for Dennis, but Tehumi steals it from him in the last second. That is a very, very good time from Tehubi, and I do not think anyone is actually going to beat that. Nicolino is up 2 tenths on his lap, and Miska Haikila is essentially they're the only two who can potentially spoil that away, but the gap is just far too big. Miska Haikila only goes up to P7 with a 0.918, and Nicolino across the line goes to P5, but that is gonna be provisional pole for the man from ET8, and a great lap from Tehubi, season starting on the first grid spot. Where has that
Huge.
come from, though?
That is absolutely huge. Honestly, what a lap from Tehubi. A 10th.5 clear of Dennis Langrock and Jans Fröhlich. And, I mean, very impressive from the man from Belgium. In the McLaren, a 25.5, and that is a very huge lap. The top 10 is very close separated. 5 tenths between the whole lot, and it is quite a long circuit, so yeah. Tehubi the man to beat going into the race, as Dennis Langrock, our championship leader, has to settle for P2. But who's going to be leading into turn 1 or even into Village, because it is that long left-hander, then into the heavy braking zone, then around the loop, and that will be where the overtakes are made, as we'll see this little race. But what a lap from Tehubi there. 25.5, a 10th.5 clear from our championship leader, and what can I expect into the race?
Obviously, strategy game is quite big around this track. Usually the strategy here is either medium soft or soft medium, depending where you're starting essentially. If you're starting in the top 10, you're probably gonna go mediums and then maybe gain something when if there is a safety car, which is likely, to be fair. Yeah, we will get a restart, by the way, so if you see 20 cars go into a wall, don't be too afraid. Yeah. A strategy game is you want to pit essentially about lap 18 if you're starting on the mediums, and then just switch to the soft. And if you're starting at the back, you probably want to go on the softs to begin with, make some track position, and then box and try and undercut the rest of the field. But that will require other people going on the softs, and then when they inevitably go for the undercut, they just have to work together to try and undercut the field, and then potentially look to defend. But yeah, those are ideally really the only two strategy calls that you have, because the Haas just wear so little and they're so slow that it's not worth. The mediums do not wear out that much around this track. Like, they can go easily 20 laps, and well, 20, let's just say 18 laps is the ideal window. Your strategy game is not really as big as other tracks like Spa and Austria, of course, where all 3 tire compounds are fast. But yeah, when is Yang gonna actually? There we go. He finally got disqualified. Took a bit too long.
As there we go, everyone's finally got themselves a tide, as we'll get the grid set for the British Grand Prix then. But Tehubi is the man to beat. He had a fantastic lap there, 25.5, and that might just be the lap of the weekend. We'll see what Dennis Langrock, our championship leader, can do in this race at turn 1. If he has a better start, then he might be able to take the lead from lap 1. But yeah, a lot to talk about heading into this race, and a lot of overtaking opportunities here at Silverstone. Obviously, that DRS training is that one thing that everyone's probably dreading, especially the leader of this race. Is obviously DRS down the Wellington Straight, down the Hangar Straight, and I mean slipstream galore, literally everywhere on the track. 70% full throttle is the track, and yeah, I mean all to play for in this Grand Prix. But normally it can get a bit feisty, and we've seen that from all racing WR, I think, to be honest, this season. Everyone's getting their elbows out, that's for certain. But it just depends on who can come across the line in first, and hopefully without any penalties after the race as well. So, yeah, I mean, what kind do you expect? Are you expecting any safety cars here at Silverstone? I think I am.
To be fair, bold prediction, no safety cars in my opinion. I know, it's therefore I probably am gonna eat my words with a safety car within the first 2 corners, but like, what's the chance, right? Walls are not that close to the circuit, apart
True.
from the main straight, I think. Apart from the start-finish straight, I don't think walls are that close. Like, sure, if you get swiped into it, you might pop a tire in DNF, but that's just not really that likely. Like, I know the drivers are pretty aggressive, but they're not that bad. At least I hope.
Well, I mean, I commentated Tier 5 last week, and there was 4 or maybe 5 safety cars, and that was in Vegas. Obviously, the walls are a lot tighter, and there was just one corner in particular, turn 12, which was absolute chaos. But today, Silverstone, like I said, walls are a lot further away. However, we could see some cars absolutely play bowling, you never know, onto the hangar straight on the exit of Chapel. I've just got a bit, I don't know, I've got an itching feeling that someone might absolutely wipe someone out there. But, you know, we never know. We could have a clean one. I think we might have one VSC, but Silverstone is quite a tricky one to get an actual safety car. But yeah, we'll have to see for that one. But
yeah, one thing that is pretty interesting is, yeah, you know the last corner that's like flat out. You see drivers avoid that curb in quali and race stream, but if they're going side by side and they go over it, it's sudden death. Like the orange part of the inside, like on the flat out corner in sector 3, right before the line, it's actually like a ramp. If you go over it, you're sent into a wall, almost guaranteed. So it'll be interesting if anyone goes side by side through there to see what will happen. We might see some Rocket League players shine.
absolute musty flick into club corner. But yeah, I mean, like real life, to be fair, I think there was a Haas and who else? I can't remember. I swear it was like
Red
Sergio
Bull?
Perez and
No, I think it was Albon. It was before Perez. It was in 2020. It was before Perez got signed.
it was a while ago. Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was Albon. It was Albon. Yeah, you're right. It was Albon and
I don't blame you
was
for
it Magnussen?
thinking that a crash with a Red Bull is Perez, though.
Yeah,
I've gotten used to it.
to be fair, that is valid. Checo Perez, what shambles. But yeah, I mean, F1 was very interesting, to be honest, that weekend. Not for me because I'm a McLaren fan, but you know, pretty
Oh,
heartbreaking.
I'm a Ferrari fan.
Oh,
I don't I don't think that's too great, is it?
yeah,
Probably not.
but yeah, that stop go penalty just tore me apart. Absolutely tore me apart.
I mean, we need at least one McLaren to essentially not finish the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in order to have a chance. So I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, I'm off to F1 Arcade in Birmingham to go watch it. So hopefully we win. Otherwise, we're going to
Hey,
be going
yo.
back on train heartbroken. So
I mean, imagine having to pay to get your heart broken. Like,
don't even go there. Don't even go there. That's not happening. It's not happening. McLaren are winning the constructors. But I'll tell you what, in WR though, in tier 4, it looks like Williams are in the constructors because they're absolutely flying at the minute. Miao didn't qualify so well though. In P8.
I mean, he never really qualifies well, to be fair. He just somehow manages to gain like 10 places in the race. In the season opener in Kote, he got P2 alongside Dennis after he was like P14 on the grid or something like that. He's just always banging off other people's incidents, which isn't a bad strategy. It seems to work so far.
You know, I don't think has Dennis Langlock actually took pole this season yet because on my little notes here, it says he hasn't.
No,
It was Herman, anyway, and no
Herman
quali pace.
Poliakov and Mr. Pike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, To be fair, Dennis isn't the greatest in terms of actual pure quali pace, but in terms of race management and race car, he's great. I've seen him do double overtakes like two or three times this season already, and it's great. One of them was in Vegas before he got taken out, but it's great stuff from him. Like he's always getting that sort of bang on overtakes.
And at Silverstone, I'm sure we're going to see some more. I want to see a few moves around the outside at Stowe. I love a move when it's around the outside at Stowe. I think it's just special if someone can make that stick. But I'm predicting main moves into probably Village, then into Stowe, but well before the braking zone, just because of the pure DRS. Maybe if you're at Brooklands, if we're lucky today, with the DRS, that probably is lap 1. But also a big one is the Vale chicane, because if they stay side by side on the exit, like you said, club corner can get a bit messy.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna be watching Cops, of course. Will we see any flashbacks from 2021? Huh. Let's see.
That was, yeah.
I'm manifesting at least someone going side by side through there.
That'll be a laugh. That'll be a laugh. Round Cops. Recreating Verstappen and Hamilton. Lap 1. Tahubi and
Tahubi and Dennis Langrock.
Tahubi and Dennis Langrock side by side. Absolute chaos at Cops Corner. That's what's going to happen. The absolute experience at Barriers 50G crash on the F1 game. Never seen before. But that's what I'm predicting at Cops Corner, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But
yeah,
I'll see if that one comes true. Won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Won't be surprised on first few races of WOR season.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff from Vegas. I've seen a lot of stuff from Mr. Pike in particular. 28 penalty points, as I said, in 3 races, and he had the quali ban, so he's starting in last. We'll see the kind of moves he does.
Is he quick?
He's more like a quali merchant. No hate, please, Mr. Pike. I love you, but he's not like the type of guy that always does very quick in the race. He always over qualifies that kick. I don't know.
Don't hear that a lot, do we?
Like he's always that type that just qualifies in P1 and then drops to like P5 at the end of lap 1. In Kota, he got a 10 seconds spinning in the pit lane penalty, which wasn't great. In Vegas, he just swiped one of the Mercedes into a wall. In Singapore, he didn't race, I believe. Oh no, he did race. He almost took pole. But yeah, not the greatest in terms of
not the greatest
driving.
record. Not the greatest license here. No.
Not the
Good
cleanest.
expectations though, giving me some great expectations heading into the race. But we'll see what he does from back. If he's a quality merchant, then yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he can do on the back of the grid. I'm guessing he's just going to go absolutely for it on the first lap. Just absolutely diving down the inside at Village and Brooklands. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Battery deployment, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite tactical as well around here, because obviously it is a lot of full throttle, 70% of the whole track, and yeah, it's going to be a challenging one to save, especially if you're trying to move forward like Mr. Pike. I'm sure he's going to deploy it all on lap 1. But
especially if you're starting on the softs, you just gotta make those moves. The softs only last like 9 laps, so you gotta make it count, especially when the grid is that close.
I think it is a soft medium today, is it not?
Probably a medium soft, but we'll see who is daring to go for that alternative strategy. You need as many people to, well, not as many. I guess like you need like 4 people to go on the softs, and after the stops, just work together to try and undercut and then defend. It's not that difficult. It's more like pure RNG. I guess those ones at the back they wouldn't really gain much if they just start on the mediums like everyone else. You gotta make something off of it. Particularly Istvan Tamasi and Mr. Pike. Like, they're the ones that are starting on the back row, and are usually pretty quick. You know, Istvan Tamasi is first race in Tier 4, I believe. But I do know he's quick, so...
Yeah. Hopefully everyone gets the setups on as well, because obviously I've had a restart. And it is a bit heartbreaking if you don't put your setup on, because that'll be very silly. But at the minute then, Championship, Dennis Langrock in P2 starting today here at Silverstone, and it's currently lead the championship by 1 point to Meow. But yeah, Meow not qualifying as well, but apparently he's been like all season. I'm probably going to pick up the pieces today in the DRS train and try and just make up positions by just being as clean as you can, because that is exactly how it might go in this race, and that's how I'm expecting it to go. But Marshals are out chilling on the grass there. Love it around Silverstone, very wide to the track, and the pit lane time loss is, I think it's around
Very
21
long.
seconds, but however, you do
It's
cut
like
that
28.
final. You do cut the final corner, so it does gain you a bit of time in that term, so it's not as long as you think. But
It is as long
obviously,
as you think, because it's 60 kilometers. It's like 28-second pit stop. It's a lot. It's really long, because the pit entry line is quite close to the actual like last turn. So you driving with 60 kilometers per hour for a very, very long. It feels like eternity.
it actually, yeah, it very much does. I'm wide on bar in the pit lane when people are going for undercuts or overcuts, but we'll have to wait and see, as I'm pretty sure we'll have a very good race ahead of us. 26 laps of race. I'm pretty sure it is around Silverstone for a 50% race, if I'm not mistaken. 5.8 kilometer circuit, 70% full throttle, third longest on the calendar behind Spa in Saudi Arabia, and 156 miles per hour average speed. Silverstone is an absolute great circuit, definitely one of my favourites to watch in real life as well, with the racing action. But I'm sure we're going to get underway in a moment's time, with Tahubi leading us away from pole position. As here we are, Tier 4, Silverstone, round 4, Tahubi on pole, the championship leader in P2, and it's lights out, and away we go. Tahubi does get away well. Can Dennis Langrock poke a nose in down the inside? Into turn 1 we go. Dennis Langrock tried to make a move. The Red Bull of Jan Strelic trying to go for a move as well, goes into the back of the Williams, but here we go, into turn 3. Who's got the moves? It's Tahubi, round the outside, defending this one for his life, heading round entry. I think he might just got this one behind. I think Nicolino is going for moves on the Ferrari of Giovanni. Who's going to come out on top with that one? As Nicolino has got the outside line heading into Brooklands. It's outside line for him. Oh, contact with the Ferrari and the Red Bull of Jan Švirlik, who stays ahead. But yeah, the Ferrari dropping positions of Giovanni down to P7. But on lap 1, Tahubi is flying into Cops and keeps a lead into Cops. But behind, it's still squabbling for positions all the way down to P17.
Yeah, obviously Giovanni in the front had that incident. He still ghosted of the inside of someone from the back. I think that is Stephen Vassos. They go side by side through Maggots and Beckett. Oh no, that is a domino effect. It's like watching ping pong. It's so funny.
Here we go for the lead of the race. Nearly there. Jan Švirlik trying to go for a move on Tahubi as well, but he gets past Dennis Langrock and he's into P2 already. Dennis Langrock just has to concede the position into Stowe. But Tahubi is going to lead the first lap here at Silverstone. The McLaren so far getting away absolutely wonderfully to 32-2, 32-3 for the fastest lap and the first lap of the Grand Prix. Jan Švirlik with a good start to his race as well in the Red Bull. Can he get on the back tube and try and get himself into lead the race? DRS will be enabled, and we'll see some more overtakes. Meow dropping positions to Ben Shawley in the RB. We've got a yellow flag. And I think
that is Istvan Tamasi round.
he's got no front right end plate there, so he's going to struggle. He's probably going to have to pit early. There's Tahubi into Brooklyn, still under pressure from Dennis Langrock, as he makes a move on the Red Bull once more. He gets back through on the medium compounded tyres, as is right behind Tahubi once more. I've still got moves behind, as I think Herman might have made a move on the Haas as we head down to Cop's corner. But it's lap 2, it's Tahubi still in the lead, but that DRS is going to get enabled in a few moments' time. It should be a soft medium today, with no safety cars thrown into the mix. But here we go in the slipstream through Maggots and Beckett's on the exit of Chapel. get your foot down, and we're going to get that rearing open. There's Dennis Langrock with that DRS open, with the slipstream. What line is it going to go for? It's going to be the outside line instead. I don't think it's going to matter because he's going to get through before the braking zone. We've got behind the Mercedes going for a move on the Alpine of Nicolino as down into the Vale chicane. It's side by side. It's the Alpine who's going to keep the position with a nice defensive move there, and the Red Bull going for a move. It's Herman round the outside of the Mercedes. It's fantastic from Herman. He's now on the back of Miska heading into turn 1. It's fantastic from the Red Bull driver, and he's into P5, and it's already on the back of the Mercedes, or on the Alpine should I say, but it's beautiful from the Red Bull. It's amazingly judged heading into on the exit of the Vale chicane. But what a move from Herman in the Red Bull as Dennis Langrock leads this race by 7.5 attempts he's pulled already in that first sector.
Yeah, great stuff from Dennis. I predicted it. He's already in P1. Only took him about 2 laps. But yeah, in terms of the strategy game, everyone's opted for the mediums except both NLRs in P5 and P6. The faces of Herman Polyakov and Miska Haikila. Mr. Pike already up to P8. It's been a great start for him. As on lap 3, he's already halved the gap that he needs to P1. It feels like I'm watching Max Verstappen, to be fair. But yeah, we'll see how long they can manage to go along with those soft compound tires, as they will be still faster. They are still faster at this stage, but they will be dropping off in the next few laps.
There goes Uppbeat into the race lead once more, into Stowe corner. As behind, I think Herman Polyakov getting right close to the back of Nicolino. But this time around, he's going to have to stay behind and cede that position. But getting very close, getting very feisty. Herman Polyakov making the moves already. It's lap 4 this Grand Prix. He's right on the rear of Nicolino. He surely has the race pace today. He's looking very quick in this first stint, but he is on a softer compounder tyre, and that might cost him in the second stint as well. He's got to get on with this one before those softs fade away. But here we go. There we go. Round the outside. The Red Bull trying to go for a move. He's getting pushed off the racetrack lane. He's got pushed back behind 2 cars behind. That's a Hassan and Williams making contact, or Hassan Alpine of Stephen Vasso, should I say, on the exit of the loop. But Herman Polyakov losing positions there, as he might have just got pushed off slightly there by Nicolino in the Alpine, heading into loop. He's now pressurised by the kick salvo of Mr. Pike. He's putting his elbows out as Mr. Pike gets a move on Herman Polyakov and is into P6 of this race. And now, right behind the Mercedes of Miska Haikila. As there we go then, Uppbeat leads the race as Dennis Langrock is going to be right on the back with that DRS. He's surely going to get past when we head into Stowe. But there we go, we'll see on the exit of Chapel, can Dennis Langrock get through once more?
Yeah, to be fair though, for the top 4, Nicolino is playing the role as just a buffer from everyone on the source behind. He's low-key shitting bricks at this point. Like, he is trying to defend for his life, and it is working out so far. He might have taken out Herman a little bit, but we'll see what happens with the stewarding there. But yeah, so far it is great. He's managing to hold them behind pretty nicely, and he has got a nice bit of battery to work with, 60%, same as Miska Haikila. Yeah, so he will have the battery deployment to his advantage to try and defend for these next few laps. As in about 2 laps, I'd say, the softs will be the slower compound compared to the mediums. So yeah, it's not looking great from everyone starting on the soft. They're just stuck behind Nicolino for now, and everyone at the front is just swapping places. You know, you're leading the DRS train. All you gotta do is, if you're in P2, just overtake the P1 guy, and then you're gonna get re-overtaken the next lap. And that's how the races usually go. It's pretty boring at the front. You just sort of drive around with DRS. Everyone at the back, though, is gonna soon go for moves to try and regain some of the track position that they lost. Particularly Giovanni Galiotto, who obviously had that incident in lap 1, and he did drop back, I believe, 3 places.
Oh, here we go once more. Places. Jan is very, very close to the back of Dennis Langrock. He's trying to make a move. He gets past Uppbeat, but not Dennis Langrock into Stowe corner. Dennis Langrock leads the race as Uppbeat loses 2 positions, and that's to Jan Schvillik in the Red Bull as well. But Dennis Langrock on lap 5 does get past Uppbeat once more and is leading this DRS train that heads all the way down to P15.
Miska Haikala is all the way up to the back of Nicolino as he try and go for it. Down the inside of turn 4. He goes for it. Little bit of contact made. It's okay, he's gonna try hold it round the
Oh,
outside
the
and he
Sauber.
gets tapped. Nice.
Ah, Mr.
Nice.
Pike hits the rear of Miska Haikala as the Mercedes once more been in a bit of an incident there as Herman Polyakov gets back through and right behind Nicolino. But Mr. Pike causing a bit of a collision there on the exit of the loop as, yeah, that's just ended pretty sadly for Miska Haikala, who was trying to make a move on Nicolino in the Alpine. But here we go then. Lap 6. Dennis Langrock leads this DRS training, and I think Jan Schwilik might just get through into the race lead for the first time in this Grand Prix. We'll head into Magnussen Beckett and into Chapel, and we'll see what happens this time round. Can Tahubi try and make the moves as well? Who's going to deploy tactically? It's only lap 20. It's only lap 6. We've got another 20 laps ahead of us. But here we go into Stowe Corner. It's a move from Jan Schwilik. It's a move from Tahubi down the inside. Tahubi trying to go for a move as he does make the move on Dennis Langrock. As Dennis Langrock now at the back in P3. But Jan Schwilik leads his first lap here in Silverstone, here in Tier 4. As we're heading on to lap 7.
Yeah, hard break for Mr. Pike though. He lost half of the progress that he made on the softs and he's now dropped back 6 places, or 7 essentially, and a really unlucky incident. I don't know what actually happened, as I just wanted to go on board with Miska Haikala, but it's okay.
Could have a move here though, heading in to Brooklands. He just has to stay behind us. Tahubi. It was getting very close with the DRS under a 10th. Oh, Meow is going for a move. Who's that?
Well, Herman's just completely rammed Nicolino off. Either he rammed him or it was lag, because on my screen it just looked like completely. I mean, he didn't crash into him. He more like Nicolino just ghosted and suddenly got rammed off. He got a massive speed boost through. What is the name of that corner actually? Is it Luffield? Yeah, it is Luffield. Yes, the exit of Luffield. Yeah.
Oh, three wide.
3 wide.
Dennis Langrock and Tahubi still side by side. Dennis Langrock, bit of a collision there on the exit, and he's ghosted now behind Jan Schwilik, and he's still in P3 as Tahubi leads the Grand Prix. Went 3 wide for a moment there into Stowe, but Tahubi comes out on top to Jan Schwilik, then Dennis Langrock, then Herman Polyakov, who already has that penalty in the Red Bull. And Miska Haikala in P5 after a few incidents with Nicolino, who's now down in P6. But this DRS train heading all the way down to Mr. Pike, who's already been broken away from with 1.4 seconds behind there. But this gap very much closing, as look how close this pack is. In the top 10, as there we go, got a yellow flag though, and I think that's Stephen Vasso in the Alpine in P15. Tahubi leads the Grand Prix as we head into Luffield, and on the exit round past Woodcote onto the national pit straight in the slipstream. Can anyone try and make a move into Copse Corner? But there we go then. Meow gets past Mr. Pike and is now 1.6 seconds behind this pack in the top 9.
Yeah, that is not great, especially like if you lose the DRS to the guys ahead, you're not gaining that back, simply said. You do not have the raw pace, even if you push to try and do that. The DRS is just too powerful, and especially looking at Meow's 10% of ERS, it does not look great. Zishwan Tamasi has decided to call it a night and go play some Fortnite, but yeah, unlucky stuff from him. He got that collision in turn 4 at the start of the race, and he's just gone from bad to worse. And he's decided, right, no point in racing. Safety car would not really save him. And yeah. As in terms of strategy though, soon I'm expecting those who start on the softs to
Oh, a move.
go into the box.
Pekatic going for a move on Giovanni Galeotto, heading around the loop, and that was a fantastic move around the outside as Tahubi going for a move on Jan Schvillik. It's our first change of lead heading into Brooklands as the McLaren of Tahubi gets past Jan Schvillik and is now in the lead of this Grand Prix once more. It's Tahubi, our pole sitter, back in the race lead, heading onto the national pit straight and heading up to Cops. Nice move from himself. As I'm sure with a DRS, it might just change heading once more down to Stowe. But Tahubi in the McLaren looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Nicolino has already got past Miska Haikala and he has got about 40% of ERS, more than Herman Polyakov. On towards the Wellington straight, we'll see. Oh, sorry, that's the hangar straight. What am I talking about? On toward the hangar straight. Will we go for a move? Around the outside it goes, and he clears him. Brilliant move from Nicolino. In towards P4. No one goes into the pits just yet, but in about a lap or two they should be coming out. The softs are dropping off quite significantly at this stage of the race. Obviously Herman has got that 3-second time penalty, which will set him back an awful lot of positions considering everyone's in the DRS train. And
There's Tahubi and Dennis Langrock side by side heading into the loop. Who can come on top of that one? It's Tahubi who stays ahead, and the Alpino Nicolino is surely going to fight this one as well. It's very close behind us. Herman Polyakov also very close behind on the dying soft compound attire. Nicolino, is he trying to go for a move in the slipstream as we head into Brooklands? It's so tight between all these guys in the top 9. As no one making moves so far, but Tahubi does stay ahead of Dennis Langrock and Jan Schvillik in the lead of this Grand Prix, heading into Copse Corner. But like I said, the pit stop should be coming to play now, with the soft runners absolutely fading away in terms of pace. Polyakov, the only remaining soft runner who's looking still pretty comfortable, but he is in that DRS train, and that's the main thing really, with Miska Haikala as well in the Mercedes. But here we go, lap 10 onto the hangar straight, as we've already got a move, and that's Tahubi going for a move on Jan Schvillik for the race lead once more. As I'll tell you what, Nicolino getting very close to Dennis Langrock, but this time cannot make a move. Just not close enough, as they both have the DRS and the slipstream. Anyone going for a move into the Vale chicane? I don't think they are this time around. So it's going to be Tahubi who leads this lap on to lap 11. Still no one in this top 9 yet to pit.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, though Herman and Miska, like, they're in the DRS train, so as long as they keep in that, they should be fine. Their softs can go another 3-4 laps with decent pace, so there's no worth, I guess, to box at this stage. As Mr. Pie has already went to the mediums, but I do not believe the gap is worth going for it at this stage. It's simply just stay in that DRS train. You are gonna gain more, as Mr. Pike is just all out alone on the track. No DRS for him, so he will be losing a significant amount of lap time on the straight compared to everyone in the DRS train. So
yeah, it's Dennis Langrock challenging Jan Schvillik already, getting very close to the back. Into Brooklands, they're going for a move around the outside into Luffield, but on the straight he gets a very nice exit actually onto Chapel, and he's already on the back of Jan Schilling. We could see a bit of a free wide move, as there we go, Dennis Langrock pulling out of that slipstream right behind Tahubi. It's going to have to be around the outside at Stowe, but Dennis Langrock having to seize that one as we now head into the Vale chicane. As there we go, Jan Schvillik's called it, the first one to call it, into the pit lane.
what is he doing?
There we go, Jan Schvillik on the mediums. Interesting one.
Yeah, almost spun in the pit lane, but I don't get it. Why are you going off the mediums on lap 11? Like, you going onto the hards, bro. I know Jan hasn't played that much F1 24, but the F1 23 strategy of hard medium does not work. It's soft medium on this game. He's gonna try and go for an undercut, but the hards are just so slow around this circuit. Like, they have almost spins already on the pit exit. I don't get why he's done that. The people on the softs are still going strong compared to him. I do not understand the strategical. Well, I will ask for that, but yeah, on the
Interesting.
lap 12 now. Yeah, Tehubi has got a pretty comfortable gap at this stage, half a second, and everyone in the top three is looking pretty comfortable, just keeping the tires, saving their ERS for when they need it. As Marvin Golm gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Track limits on this track are not really that difficult to obey, I believe. And that's Herman Polyakov and Miska both going in half coded, and it's their time for a pit stop. We'll see where they come out compared to Mr. Pie. They should be ahead, and they should be ahead of Jan Fredlik, I believe. Or they're gonna come out side by side, somewhere there. Stephen Vasso has also coded in, but he's out of contention for any points, I believe. So you're pretty unlucky there. As Herman and Miska on the end of the pit stop straight, and they have gone and they made that overcut work. Great stuff from both of them ahead of Jan Schredlik, and that is gonna be their strategy game completed. And now they gotta push to try and undercut as much as they can compared to Tehubi and Dennis Langrock to try and gain as much time as possible. As obviously, everyone from the leading train will be going on to the softs later on in the race. And yeah, Lewis, you're racing in tier 3, buddy. This is the wrong lobby. Anyways.
Yeah, so I think
And it's getting...
Jan Schrillik might have just realised he's made a mistake because the guys ahead coming out on the medium compound side. So Hubi's in the pit lane, called it quite late there. Dennis Langrock will take the lead of this Grand Prix, so must be going for a bit of an undercut as he'll be going on to the softer compound tyre with 13 laps to go. So half race distance on the mediums, half race distance on the softs. That seems about right, and that's what Jan Schrillik should have done as well. But Dennis Langrock takes the lead once more to Nicolino in P2. In the DRS train, can they pull out a bit of an overcut? Because it might be quite a good call if they do struggle to get heat into the tyres, and that's likely to Hubi, Polyakov and Heikela, in the Mercedes. But yeah, will Dennis Langrock come in this lap? I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he has. He will surely go for it now because he just simply cannot afford to lose that much track
There's the Hubi.
position.
Down the inside, side by side, coming out of Miska Heikela. It's going to have to be round the outside for Tehubi on the softer compounded tyres. It's still side by side, interlocking wheels on the exit of the loop there. But Miska Heikela gets the move so far. It's DRS wide open for Tehubi. He is the one fighting for this race lead today. But as the Mercedes and the Red Bull ahead, throwing a bit of a curveball in the mix on the medium compounded tyres. Obviously, when he gets these tyres up to temperature to Hubi, he should be a lot more quicker. As we head on the exit around Woodcut, as we'll head into Copse Corner, it'll be a slipstream, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near to try and make a move. He'll have to wait until the hanger straight and into Stowe for that one. But Nicolino right on the back of Dennis Langrock, because I'm sure these guys are going to come into the pit lane as Dennis Langrock actually stays out another lap. So interesting for Dennis Langrock going a bit longer on these mediums, so he'll have the tyre offset when he goes on to the soft compound tyres. Nicolino pits, but Dennis Langrock leads once more.
Yeah, I guess he is feeling pretty good on these worn-out mediums at this point. He is feeling, and his pace is, to be fair, pretty good. So him and Pekacic are gonna try and go for one more, potentially two more, and go at the end of lap 16. But yeah, I guess having one lap tire advantage is not really gonna do anything. So he has gone for another one to try and potentially gain something else. Obviously, everyone that is already boxed is currently fighting for track position, and they are losing time in doing so. And Dennis will try and capitalize over that to minimize the loss that he had on track.
Tehubi going for a move then on Miska Heikela. Down the inside, he finally does make that move on the softer compounded tyres, and now can really start to put inroads on Dennis Langrock in the race lead, trying to do that undercut as he sets purple in the first sector, and will be right on the back of Polyakov, I'm sure, when we head onto the hanger straight. As I tell you what, Miska Heikela though has got a fantastic exit heading around Woodcut and is right on the back into Cop's corner, but cannot make a move. Is he going to try actually move into Magnussen Beckett's Mercedes, trying to go side by side, but Tahubi has to just pull ahead on the soft compound tyres. And in that McLaren, he does stay ahead of Mr. Heikel as we head onto the straight once more. DRS it will be for Tahubi, as this could really put him into the race lead. There we go. Easy gets past. Can Mr. Heikel get past as well? Don't think he can into Stowe, but there we go. Tahubi, surely this is net P1 as Dennis Langrock into the pit lane. We'll see. Wants to come round turn 1 as soft compound tyres on, as our former race leader is now into the pit lane, our championship leader. Where's he going to come out as well, as Ben Shorley takes the lead for the first time, I'm sure, this season as well. But on the exit of, on Meow, that is, Meow very close actually with the DRS. Is he going to try go for a move into Brooklands? I think he absolutely is. There we go. Meow gets into the race lead in that other McLaren, as in that other Williams, sorry, as the Williams leads another lap. But Tahubi does come out ahead of this train and is 6 tenths ahead of Herman Polyakov in the Red Bull. There's Miska Heikkila behind him, Jan Schvillik behind him, Nicolino, then Pekarczyk, then Dennis Langrock all the way down in P9 and quite far down in this train, but he has got a tyre offset on the soft compound. 10 laps to go, full racing action. Need some moves from our championship leader.
Yeah, the race will be starting to unfold at this stage, and we didn't notice it, but I gotta give credit to Pekarczyk. Absolute phenomenal win lap. He comes to Dennis Langrock and overtook him right going into the pits, which is phenomenal stuff from him to try and get one more position, and great in terms of the mind games, obviously, because you know he was behind him for the entire stint and then just suddenly comes back at him out of nowhere basically, and he manages to get himself that track position to fight against Jan Schrodlik and everyone else up ahead, as there is now Ben and Meow into the pits at the end of lap 16, start of 17. They're gonna have a tire advantage, but they will have quite a lot of gap to quite a lot of disadvantage in terms of track position. Yeah, they are 3 seconds back as well, so that is not great for their races, as we got Pekarczyk all the way going side by side with Jan through Laffield, and he does make that move stick into P5, but crucially they have now lost the DRS to the top 4, which is absolute nightmare for anyone outside the top 4, as that is not what you want to do, especially that is a nightmare for Dennis Langrock, because Pekarczyk does not have any ERS to play with. He's got 13%. He has dropped back another 2 tenths, and looking at it, it does not look like that gap is going to close.
Nicolino gets past Miska Heikkila, and that might just gain them a bit of time, but obviously they've just lost another 5 tenths on that straight alone. Gained another 4 tenths into the corner after was side by side. But yeah, Pekarczyk might have been a big error then, that bit of battling on the exit of Luffield. Is now 1.2 seconds away from that crucial DRS, and that might have just taken any out of any contention for a podium position in this Grand Prix. Tahubi leads once more. Dennis Langrock making a move on Jan Schvillik. Here we go. Beautiful racing action into Village. Still side by side. It's the Red Bull versus the Williams. The championship leader versus Jan Schvillik. Round the outside he goes. It's fantastic from Dennis Langrock on the softer compounded tyres. Might just be a crucial move. He's still got the DRS to Pekarczyk as well. But our championship leader, Dennis Langrock, makes that move and is into P6 in this Grand Prix. Can he get ahead of Pekarczyk and can he try make inroads on Miska Heikkila's crucial 1.4 second gap? But there we go, beautiful move. Dennis Langrock into P6, but Tahubi at the front might have just gained enough to get the cars behind out of DRS. That could be ever so crucial for Tahubi for this race win. This now 8 laps to go, and Polyakov doesn't have DRS. Heading down the hangar straight, the cars behind now need to work together to try and get back in it. But the gap is just over 1 second. As there we go onto the straight. Tahubi leads by 1 second as Nicolino gets into P2 and will close in just under that 1 second. Can he keep it in the final sector?
Probably. Pace is looking pretty good for Nicolino, and he will be able to keep we're in that 1 second gap, and he is looking amazing on those soft compound tires to try and get his first race win in Tier 4. But the main issue that arose, the main thing that sort of led to the top 5 dropping out was just Jan being on the hards and him not having the pace, as those hards are gonna be extremely tough to carry around, particularly when the mediums are just overall the better choice. And then you consider that everyone's on the soft and they're lapping about a second quicker than him, more or less. And it's just not looking great, especially when he's now almost out of the points, and he will be dropping down more and more as the race unfolds. Obviously, the hards will get better towards the end of the race, but it's still nowhere near the pace that the compound should be at. Yeah, everyone from the soft to medium strategy is pretty good now.
There we go.
As Herman.
Dennis
Dennis.
Langrock, yeah, easily makes it through on Pikashik with that DRS. Is there anything left in the locker for Dennis Langrock, our championship leader, to try and make inroads on Miska Heikler on those soft compounded tyres? He has got the better compound, but there's only 6 laps to go, and without DRS, he could be really out of this one for a top 4 finish. As Dennis Langrock, 1.6 is that gap. But Tehubi, 3 tenths is now the gap to Nicolino, who's shown in absolute fantastic pace in this second stint. Tehubi might just be under a bit of pressure with 6 laps to go. Herman Polyakov still in this battle, but has that penalty.
Yeah. Credits to Nicolino, though. He's got great DRS management at this point. He's on 80% compared to Tehubi's 60, and he's looking to try and just defend from the medium runs behind us. Obviously, those mediums will get better towards the end of the race. Still, the softs are faster, and potentially for the last 2 laps, those who are on the mediums now would have a tire advantage, but it doesn't really look like it's going to be that big, as obviously they went for an undercut, so they have 2 laps older tires. So it would still be quite a bit of a challenge to get past tough runners, as Nicolino around the outside it goes, and so does Herman Polyakov, manages to sweep past Tehubi, and that is a great move to get himself into P2 right behind Nicolino. And on lap 21, starting 21, it's looking pretty good for Herman, but he also has got that 3-second time penalty, and Dennis Langrock and Pikachu are working together pretty nicely to keep that gap under 3 seconds, so at least they will minimize the damage that Jan has done and at least get 1 place. You know, I guess when Dennis is fighting for a championship, every point matters, so even if they can get under the 3 seconds of Herman Polyakov, will still be greatly appreciated.
Indeed it will. Polyakov then, that penalty might just cost him of a top 5 finish if that is the case. But at the minute, Pikashik, Dennis Langrock trying to get any sort of inroad on the top 4, but still it's just not effective. Around 1.5, 1.6 seconds it is every lap. They've only gained about half a tenth since I last looked, and that was last lap. So yeah, gaining very slowly, but that is probably due to the battling at the front as Nicolino leads his way around on to the hanger straight once. For the first time in this race, actually, Nicolino does this, as Herman Polyakov right behind with the DRS. Is he going to try and make a move on the Alpine? He isn't. He's going to have to stay behind this time around. Dennis Langrock does make a move on Pikashik for P5 in this race, and 1.3 is the gap now. Can they just close it in that bit more? You deploy that battery, as I think there's actually been a bit of a mistake from Miska Heikel, and instead this as that might be just Dennis Langrock creeping in that DRS. There it is, under 1 second with a fantastic final sector. Dennis Langrock might just find himself within this DRS and back in this fight as the Williams. We'll see when we get on to the Wellington straight once more. I think he has got DRS.
Yeah, great slingshot there from Dennis Langrock. He did burn everything he had in the tank, obviously, from 100% down to 25% ERS, but he has managed to close that gap, ideally 6/10, and he's looking pretty good. Bravos, you know, credit to Dennis for that. I didn't really see that coming. Great pace,
amazing.
obviously.
With the tyre off, there obviously a few extra laps out there on the mediums, went onto the softs. It's now 5.5 tenths in this battle as Herman Polyakov leads this Grand Prix. He made a move into Brooklands as we was focusing on Dennis Langrock, who has got back in this DRS. Our championship leader has the chance of fighting for this race win with 4 laps to go. Is there anything left in the locker for Dennis Langrock? Can he fight Nicolino, Tahubi, and Miska Heikalina? But here we go, it's 3 wide between Polyakov, Nicolino, and Tahubi. It's Nicolino who takes the lead. It's Tahubi down the inside. He's trying to keep this one, as he absolutely does. Polyakov has to concede the 2 positions behind Miska Heikalina, as yeah, he's just gonna have to stay right behind Polyakov. But it's very close, as Dennis Langrock, I'm sure, is probably going to get his elbows out heading on to lap 23. Nicolino leads the Grand Prix once more. Tahubi, our pole sitter, in P2, and Herman Polyakov in P3.
Yeah, the problem for Herman though is that he's only got 20% of ERS, and compared to everyone around him who's on a full battery, like, no joke, everyone in the top 7 is on 100% of battery compared to Herman, who's on 15, and that would see him at a insanely big disadvantage. Like, he's potentially gonna be down like 4 places.
Dennis Langrock and Perkashik there going side by side. That was on the exit of Luffield there, but at the minute I think it's Dennis Langrock who keeps positions. Perkashik trying to force a move there. It's Polyakov under pressure as he's getting ever so close. Look how close it is in that top 7, because look at them all fighting for this one all the way through Maggotts and Beckett's. Who's going to have the exit? As Polyakov seems to actually have a very good run through Maggotts and Beckett's, as Nicolino, it's 3 tenths a gap, and that's going to be eradicated as we head back onto the hangar straight into Stoke Corner. It's moves galore as Miska Heikalina free.
And that is
huge collision there. Polyakov sent to the back of this one. Dennis Langrock in P3 in this one. Tahubi leads the Grand Prix. Nicolino in P2. Dennis Langrock in P3. Perkashik in P4. It's carnage on lap 23. Heading on to lap 24. It's Tahubi who's going to lead this Grand Prix once more. But big crash there between Polyakov, who's sent packing to the back in P8 with that penalty as well. But all instance on that one, with 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix, it's Tahubi who leads us away, with Nicolino and Dennis Langrock rounding out our provisional podium.
Yeah, great stuff from both of the actually no, they're different. Great stuff from both ET8s. Never mind, that's what I was gonna say. In P1 and P4 so far, they are gonna try and get a bit more teamwork in to hopefully get Pikachu onto the podium. Unlucky, really unlucky stuff from Herman Polyakov as 3 wide into I believe the core is, yeah, it is Stove. Yeah, 3 wide into Stove. It's just not gonna work out. And we see that, yeah, I've seen it work, but it's just so difficult, especially when the track is just tightens up on the entry and you don't want to give up the inside.
Tahubi getting caught with a DRS. Dennis Langrock going down the inside. It nearly went free ride for a second there. Dennis Langrock's going to take this one surely. On the exit, Nicolino still sticking it round the outside into the Vel chicane. It's Dennis Langrock who takes the place, and he heads into P2 once more. This has been a fantastic fight back for Dennis Langrock. He got back in the DRS, and on lap 25, the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix, it's Tahubi who leads, the man who was on pole, but it's Dennis Langrock in P2 after a phenomenal fight back, as Nicolino, with his great pace in this second stint, is still well and truly in contention in P3 in this race, as the McLaren of Pikashik also trying to make a move, heading round the loop. But Tahubi so far, the man on form, 4.5 tenths, nearly 5 tenths clear, but Dennis Langrock with the DRS, he's surely going to close in.
Yeah, but the thing is, even if he closes in this lane, he's not going to go for it. He needs to just recharge that battery back to 100% to have a chance at have a go at Tahubi on the last lap. But Nicolino behind him on a full battery is gonna pressure him into using to potentially get himself more than that 3rd place. And also Pikachu also on a full battery, will want to get onto that podium. And everyone in the top 4 has a chance at a race win at this point. And there is also Miska Haikala right behind him, chilling on those mediums, and he's ready to buy something. Side by side they go through Stove for P2. Nicolino gets slight contact made with Dennis Langro and he gets pushed off the road and goes off, but it is all a-okay for him.
Absolute elbows out for the final lap of this Grand Prix. Tahubi started on pole in this one. Dennis Langrock had to fight back from a bit of an overcut. He tried to do the overcut, then the lost DRS with the hard runner of, I'm pretty sure, who I think it was Trillik, Jan Trillik, who tried to go on the hard compounder tyres. Didn't work out for him. The lost DRS. Dennis Langrock had to fight all the way back, use all that battery just to get back in it. He's now in DRS and might just be in the fight for the lead. Pikashik trying to go for a move on Nicolino, and Dennis Langrock is down the inside for Pikashik. It's free wide heading to Brooklands. It's the inside line for Nicolino. It's fantastic from Nicolino. And on the exit, it's the Alpine. They're still side by side as his contact on the exit. Tahubi's nearly 8 tenths clear as Nicolino and Pikashik and Dennis Langrock all making contact. Miska Haikala in P3 as well. It's 8 tenths to our leader. It's carnage on the exit onto Woodcut at turn 8. It's still side by side between Langrock and Haikalina, but it's Tahubi who might just take this one. It's DRS for Nicolino. They're both going to deploy absolutely everything as Tahubi weaving a bit on the straight, trying to break that slipstream, but it's going to be Tahubi's day. Surely today in the McLaren, he grabbed pole position with an absolute fantastic lap here in Tier 4. As for the first time this season, it's Tahubi who's been absolutely unstoppable. He's P7 in the standings, and it's going to be his first win in Tier 4. It's fantastic from the McLaren. Tahubi crosses the line in P1. It's carnage on the final lap as Nicolino takes P2, with Dennis Langrock, who takes P3, and Pikashik in P4 for McLaren. But Tahubi, what a race, and what a carnage did you see on the exit of Woodcut, because that was just a mad fight.
I told you Tier 4 is insane in terms of racing, and everyone is so close in terms of pace. You get great racing like this, and you see at the exit of Laffield, Dennis and Pikachu got pushed all the way onto the grass by Nicolino. So we'll see what will happen in terms of the stewards room there. But great race from Tahubi, really well managed, and he did manage to capitalize really well on that fight for P2. And he just manages to keep that P1 on the last lap, which is all that matters. Nicolino, great race from him, from P5 all to P2. Dennis Langrock, he's gonna be a little bit frustrated there, as on the last lap, he did get punted off the road, so he will be pretty angry and have a talk with the stewards about that. But Pikasic, great race from him, from P12 on the grid up to P4, and potentially a podium with a bit of stewarding involved. Miska Haikala, P5, good race from him. Got Marvin Golmin, P6. P7 for Giovanni Galiotto. Jan Schwerlich managed to keep that P8 on the hards, which is a pretty heroic effort considering he was on the wrong strategy. Mr. Pike from last up to P9, and then Meow in P10 to round up the point scoring positions.
Yeah, Tahubi definitely deserved that one. He was fantastic in qualifying, and the strategy was perfect. He led the race very well. He judged it very well to make moves as well. No real instance from Tahubi's side, but Nicolino, Dennis Langrock, and Pikashik, what a battle on the final lap there as we saw the collision on the exit of Luffield, because, I mean, that's chaos. Free wide all the way through Sector 1. Heading to Brooklands, around Luffield on the exit. For 1 minute, I thought it was a fantastic move from the Alpine, but it all just unfolded on the exit. But what a battle. What a battle. My first Tier 1, Tier 4 race there as carnage on the final lap. But, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't that bad throughout the race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a reason Silverstone's a fan favorite, right? You get great racing like this, and potentially some stewarding will be involved, I'm sure, actually.
I agree.
especially on the last lap.
I absolutely agree. As we'll see if we've got any interviews as well. Speak to anyone, but what a race! What a race! For my race winner, the McLaren or Tahubi. As we've just got to agree that he was the man on form today. He really did deserve that win. No real instance, wasn't dirty at all. He led it from pretty much start to finish. Obviously, we had a few lead changes, but he had a great start. Judged the DRS train perfectly, and yeah, just nailed it every time into Stowe. No real instance. So yeah, well done to Tubi today. Very well earned. As I think we might get just the one interview today. As Mr. Pike is going to come in here. Who else can we
Whoever
get?
wants to talk.
We'll see if we can get anyone else in.
Whoever wants to.
Let's bring Mr. Pike in, shall we? Ah, Mr. Pike, from the back of the grid, you managed to just get into the points there. And I'm sure we saw you get the elbows out a few times around the field. Just explain your race for us. And yeah, just how do you feel after it?
I don't know what to say, but yeah, starting from the back of the grid and starting with soft, gaining positions. In the start, I was P6 at the best time, and but yeah, then I had a collision with the other Mercedes driver, and I dropped out a DRS and try to take undercut, but nothing is to do when it's Great Britain where you need to have the DRS.
Yeah,
That's all.
especially. I don't know what happened in turn 4 with the Mercedes though, but
Yeah, they were side by side with the, I don't remember who, but
Hermin Poliaco.
yeah, I saw there was a chance for me to go inside, but I don't know what happened there. There was something like a hit, and I was hitting. Yeah, but the collision was very unlucky, and it ruined my race.
It's okay. It
Yeah.
happens. We'll see what will happen with the stewarding there.
Yeah, and like the first races, in all of them, I've been in the chaos and in the reports. So let's see what happens on this race.
Yeah.
Let's see if you bring down the 30 penalty point mark.
Yeah, I hope not, but yeah, I think there was not a straight penalty, but
Hopefully not.
yeah, but just need to look a few hours later if there is report. I don't know.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, I know you would.
Yeah. Good race from you considering you had a qualifying. So yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see obviously what will happen in the next few races. As we take a look at the calendar, and in the next few weeks before the Christmas break, we've got up next Netherlands and then Hungary. So on the 9th and 16th of December. And then we will get a break for the holidays. And we'll be back in 2025 on the 6th of January to continue the season with China, followed up by Canada, Austria, and Sao Paulo. Which one of these races are you most looking forward to?
Well, you said Netherlands and Hungary first.
Yeah.
Netherlands and Hungary, especially Hungary, I have a really good pace, but it's like always my quali pace is so bad. So if I start from the back, like in Hungary, I can't go to podium positions because impossible to overtake. But let's see.
Hacha, I'm expecting you to get a pole position then. No pressure.
Yeah, there is the potential, but uh, every time something happens for me.
Yeah, I've seen that,
Yeah,
especially in the stewards room.
yeah. Let's see when I like get a solid race without any mistakes. Waiting for
Honestly,
that.
yeah. I'm gonna start a bet every time at the start of the
Yeah, yeah,
stream.
yeah,
Is that gonna be the race where Mr. Pike doesn't get any
yeah,
penalty points?
yeah. That's good.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, a bit of just DRS trade today, but from the back, at least still scoring points with a quality ban, so well done to you. And I feel we'll round it up so we can get Dennis Langok in as well. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the Netherlands next week.
Yeah.
Thank you very
See
much.
you there.
Have a great
Yes.
Good
evening.
evening, Pookie.
Oh, what?
Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
But see you. But see you.
right.
I know way too many people.
All right, let's bring in
Right.
Dennis Langok then, shall we? Oh my days. Ah,
Good evening,
Dennis.
Pookie.
Oh my days. But what a fight back to get in the DRS. I've just got to say straight off the bat. It was very strong for myself. Obviously, I had to deploy all the batteries, so it did leave you a bit, left back, heading on to final lap. But first of all, we've got to talk about that move with the Alpine and the other McLaren up Karshik. I mean, bit of carnage on the final lap. What's your take on it?
Yep, it's unbelievable. It's like every time I was just positioning perfect and I don't
You
know
got
really
pushed
what's
off.
happened. And then I think the McLaren was coming from the inside, just dive bombing, and the Alpine was at the outside. And yeah, then I just got boxed in, and on the exit of the long on the right, I think was it, the
Laffield?
Alpine. Yeah, he just drove into me, and he just can drive to the right, but he didn't leave enough space, and then we three just got boxed in, so I cannot do much about it.
Shout out to all the virtual fans out there. I will ask why he did that, to be fair.
What?
I'm in the same team as Nicolino, so I will ask him what happened there.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was an issue, I don't know, but
I mean, there was a little bit of lag with him. Like, he almost got swiped by Herman, like lap 5 or something, but we'll see what has happened
yeah.
there.
I think the main problem was also the McLaren that came from the inside, and then we just got completely boxed, and the McLaren in the front was lucky and just drove away, but
Yeah.
I was completely perfect strategy and last lap behind him, and just activate the DRS and then gain E1, but yeah, suboptimum.
Indeed it is.
Suboptimal cut.
I mean, still on the podium today. Obviously, I'm sure we're going to see Smacksham in the stewards room today. So yeah, from your side, it could be higher up the grid for you. But at the same time, we're going to Netherlands next week. Are you confident? Is that one of your best tracks or one of your worst?
Yes.
Yeah, Netherlands, I like Netherlands
Yes.
very much. It's a track where I done TE qualifier and drove much, so I will be confident
Cooking.
there and see what we can do there.
Gonna be
Already
cooking.
calling it out. Pole position.
Okay, okay. Now I have pressure.
Anyway, we'll let you go after that bit of chaos on the final lap. But yeah, pleasure speaking to you and fantastic to commentate on. And hopefully I might see you again soon if I am in tier 4. But thanks for joining us and we'll see you at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yep, thank you too. See you. Good night. Bye bye.
Adios.
Bye bye.
There we go then. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, what a final lap. What a final lap.
Yeah.
Tahubi dominant though. Tahubi was very quick today.
Yeah. Well, it's a good points for Dennis in the championship. He will still lead the championship going into race 5 Netherlands. Now I got a I have placed a few bets with a virtual, so I gotta give a shout out to Pro Ultra 7 in Team Hoffennagel. You know, if they challenged me, I had to. But yeah, great race from Tehubi. First win in Tier 4, and his pace is looking really good. Yeah, he had pretty decent pace, to be fair, in the previous rounds. He just got very unlucky with incidents and whatnot in the race. And if you get lucky and everything goes your way, you can just drive away on the last lap and win, just like it happened. By the
Yeah.
way, just looking in the stewards reports, Mr. Pike sadly already got reported.
Oh my days.
Come on, man. It wasn't even 5 minutes.
Oh my god. What a shock.
There is no
Oh.
way you managed to report that so quickly. I swear they're on a mission. They want to get him a season ban as quickly as
They're
possible.
getting him out. They're getting him absolutely out. Bless him. Oh no. But back at good as well. Got to cut him a bit of slack.
It's okay.
Oh my days. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so tier 2 and tier 3 is live now, so go tune into them. I'll redirect you there as well. But any final, give us a one-word roundup from the start, the first 4 rounds of the season.
I mean, great close racing. Well, not the cleanest, but you know, as a fan, it's entertaining, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Good to commentate on as well when there's absolute carnage.
Yeah, I love to. You should have seen Singapore. We had everything.
Singapore for myself was absolutely dreadful. I think I was doing tier 6. Oh my days. Absolute shambles.
Oh,
Absolute
no.
shambles. By myself as well. Oh my god, my voice gone. Right. Anyway, we'll let everyone go. We'll let everyone go to the other WR tiers.
I watch someone who's a little bit faster now.
Yeah, go
Watch
on.
tier
Go
2.
watch tier 2. Go on. Go tune in. But thank
Go
you very
on and
much.
support.
Go on and support the boys. But thanks very much for joining. It's been a pleasure doing tier 4, and we'll see you next week in the Dutch Grand Prix, Netherlands.